We're live from our studios here, number 35, John Hammond Street in Accra. Good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Let's bring you the headlines for this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
Government to release report on August 6 helicopter crash on November 11, 2025.
Tonight, National Tripartite Committee approves 9% increase in 2026 daily minimum wage, setting new rate at 21 cedi 77 pesos from January 2026. Meanwhile, the base pay on the single spine salary structure increased by 9% across board from January 2026 to December 2026.
Later, we have a story about the pioneering AI-powered heart failure detection study by Ghanaian cardiologists.
Also tonight, faith meets technology. We'll tell you how virtual prayer communities are uniting millions across Ghana in a new era of worship.
In international news, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni acknowledges for the first time that 2 Kenyan activists were secretly held for 5 weeks.
Welcome to the program. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana, also around the world on 3news.com. Let's settle for the details of the stories.
In the details this evening, the National Tripartite Committee, NTC, has announced a 9% increase in the national daily minimum wage for 2026, bringing the new rate to 21.77 cedis per day. The new minimum wage will take effect from January 1, 2026. Now, the decision was reached during the NTC's meeting on Sunday, November 9, 2025, here in Accra. The announcement was made jointly by the Ministers of Employment and Labour Relations, Finance, the Ghana Employers Association, and the Trades Union Congress. Now, the decision, according to a statement, follows careful consideration of the current economic environment, cost of living, sustainability of businesses, and efforts to boost employment. The statement urged all establishments, institutions, and organizations to comply with the new rate, with legal sanctions for non-compliance. The National Tripartite Committee, NTC, I beg your pardon, also recommended that the 2026 national daily minimum wage be tax-exempt to further support workers.
Meanwhile, the government of Ghana and organized labor have reached an agreement on the 2026 base pay for public service workers under the single spine salary structure. The agreement was formally signed on November 9 by Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. George Smith Graham, and Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, in the presence of key officials. Negotiated under the Public Services Joint Standing Negotiating Committee, it provides a 9% across-the-board increase effective from January 1, 2026 through to December 2026. The government, represented by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the Ministry of Finance, committed to further discussions with unions regarding outstanding conditions of service. Now, both parties also agreed to regularly engage on the management of the economy.
Moving away from that, the committee tasked with investigating the Ghana Air Force Harbin Z9 helicopter crash is expected to present its report on Monday, November 10, to the National Security Council. According to the Minister of Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, the details of the report will subsequently be made public at a media briefing on Tuesday. The Ghana Air Force Z-9 helicopter crash on August 6, 2025 at Adanse Ekrofrom in the Ashanti region. That's where it happened. The accident claimed the lives of 8 people, including Minister for Defense, Dr. Edward Omane-Boama, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, and Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Alhaji Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. The rest are Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator Alhaji Muniri Mohammed, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Samuel Sapong, former parliamentary candidate and Deputy NADMO Director Samuel Abaje. The military personnel who also died in the crash are Wing Commander Peter Bafemi Anala, who was the pilot, Flight Lieutenant Manning Chum Ampedu, and Flight Sergeant Ernest Adu Menta.
Now, despite growing concerns about the safety of water transport on the Volta Lake, boat operators at various landing sites in the Volta and Oti regions, they continue to operate without providing life jackets for passengers. Faisal Abdul Idrisu reports that the lack of compliance with safety regulations has led to numerous accidents on the lake, resulting in the loss of lives.
Water transport is a major means of transportation for island communities and residents along the Volta Lake in the Volta and Oti regions. But recurring boat accidents leading to loss of lives remain a major constraint, raising questions about the safety of water transport on the country's inland waterways. Last month, 15 persons, including 11 children, died in a boat accident on a section of the Volta Lake in the Kratchi West municipality of the Oti region. Despite this, checks at the various landing sites reveal commercial boat operators continue to operate without life jackets for passengers.
Life jacket,
we do not have the life jackets. Some of the boats here carry as much as 25 people, but you'd find only 2 or 3 life jackets in them. So we want government, through the Ghana Maritime Authority, to support us with life jackets. We are not happy with the happenings on the lake, but we are helpless. The casualties recorded on the lake is as a result of the unavailability of life jackets and indiscipline on the part of the passengers. Even the few we have, when we give them, they don't wear it. They put it on their heads. As part of efforts aimed at ensuring safety, the Ghana Maritime Authority says it's undertaking a series of initiatives, including the opening of offices at every landing site.
We'll be inspecting life jackets, we'll be inspecting load lines, we'll be inspecting safety requirements. So our presence here is directly related to our safety mandate. And one of the initiatives also we are bringing on board is to make life jackets available at reasonable cost, below the cost at which they would have otherwise bought it in the public space.
To ensure compliance with safety protocols, Member of Parliament for Kwando Sebastian Dare has underscored the need for extensive education in communities along the coastline.
Every industry will comply with the rules and regulations that govern that industry. More so when it has to do with water transport or lake transport for that matter. So it comes with education, just ensuring that people who go on the lake, particularly those who operate, are aware and are also made aware.
Between 2019 to 2024, the Maritime Authority spent over 94 million Ghana cedis to implement safety measures on the country's inland waterways.
Sometime in June, TV3 reported on how illegal mining has ripped apart vegetation and also polluted 2 major river bodies at Atatem, a farming community in the Adansia Soka district. But that was not all. The only basic school was also sitting at the edge of an uncovered pit. Well, there's an update in the following report filed by William Nicholas Inkum.
This was at Atatem sometime in June. Enoch was caught by the Minerals Development Fund monitoring team mining illegally. He drops out of school after class 6. Illegal mining in Atatem has ripped vegetation and polluted 2 water bodies, Jimmy and Subin. After 5 months, there seems to be some progress. The Jimmy River is coming back to life. Enoch, on the other hand, is searching for a new job, a green one. The MDF has initiated moves to engage local firms, provide job opportunities to the likes of Enoch, so they are not swayed into illegal mining.
He came to me, said, "Ma, I'm not doing it again now. I want something." And so he's somebody that we are going to train. We picked his details, and he's one person that we will bring him here and we pay for him to be trained. The owner of this establishment was once upon a time a small-scale miner, was once upon a time an illegal miner, was once upon a time into this activity that has now become like a chronic disease for our nation. And any chronic disease, I've always been saying it, as a doctor, I always will go back to that, say you cannot treat a chronic disease with an acute protocol. And so if you are going to do it, with a chronic protocol, then it means that as you push them, you give them a better exit.
A distraction everywhere and becoming recurrent in forest zones. Behind the Atetem DA Basic School, a deep life-threatening pit has entrapped a 3-unit classroom block, sheltering hundreds of children. These children are exposed to the ruins and horrors of illegal mining echoed in their thoughts. As the administrator of the MDF presents educational materials to the Atetem DA school, she recalls a moment one of these kids asked for a gun instead of a book.
During my interaction with the kids the last time I came here, I asked them what they needed. One kid mentioned a gun. So I said, I don't have a toy gun. But he said, no, mommy, I want the big gun they use. It was then I realized the kids have been exposed to the dangers of galamsey.
William Evans Inkum, TV3 News, Atetem.
Now, the National Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, NIMAS, has raided an illegal mining site at Besiasi in the Ayeswano district of the Eastern region. The NIMAS team arrested the site's galamsey kingpin responsible for blocking and polluting the Ayensu River. According to the NIMAS task force, the suspect arrived at the site armed with a pistol and attempted to bribe officials with 100,000 cedis to avoid arrest. The bribery, the cash alongside galamsey equipment, was seized and the illegal mining operations were shut down immediately. The action is part of ongoing efforts to curb illegal mining activities and protect Ghana's water bodies from pollution. And NIMAS added that investigations are ongoing and those involved in illegal operations will face the full force of the law.
Meanwhile, President John Dramani Mahama has sent a strong warning to community members who attack security officials on illegal mining duty, stressing that such offenders will face the full rigors of the law. The president's caution follows a recent attack on members of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, the Environmental Protection Authority, and some journalists by residents of a mining community during an official operation. Here's a report by Kwame Bafo Ejekum.
Speaking at the 29th Ghana Journalists Association Awards held in Kumasi, President Mahama described the attacks as unacceptable. He warned that the government will not relent in its fight against illegal mining, which continues to destroy the nation's water bodies and environment.
The fight against illegal mining is complex and challenging. Illegal mining has so deeply ingrained itself in the fabric of our society that despite the obvious damage it causes to our environment, entire communities mobilize and confront security personnel when they arrive to combat illegal mining operations in their areas. I wish to notify communities that attack public officials and security personnel performing their lawful duties that firm action will be taken against them. Upon receipt of the news, I instructed the Chief of Staff to contact the journalists who were injured to check on their health and assist with settling any hospital bills incurred.
The president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfo, called on the executive to consider establishing a special court to speed up the trial of illegal mining offenders as a deterrent to others.
We know recently there was a meeting with the president and the auditor general on corruption. We want the same meeting to be held, so special court can be created for galamsey. So galamsey cases can be heard daily, on daily basis, so that perpetrators will face the full rigors of the law. The time has come for a bold, symbolic step, one that communicates to Ghanaians and to the world that this government is fully committed to winning the war against galamsey.
Speaking at the event, the acting Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Paul Bafuboni, emphasized the need for a strong and strategic partnership among the executive, legislature, judiciary, media and civil society organizations to sustain the fight against illegal mining.
Galamsey represents a deeper wound, a failure of collective responsibility. The fight against environmental degradation cannot be waged in silos. Each arm of government and each institution must perform its constitutional role with integrity, accountability, and respect for the rule of law. When the media operates with responsibility, the judiciary with impartiality, and the executive with transparency, the foundation of our democracy remains firm and unshakable.
The 29th GJ Awards celebrated excellence in journalism under the theme Safeguarding Ghana's Future, the role of the media in promoting peace, security, and the fight against galamsey.
Away from that to the health arena, in a groundbreaking study, a team of Ghanaian cardiologists have used artificial intelligence to listen to the heart and detect heart failure in under 2 minutes. The DAMSM-HF study was simultaneously published in Circulation, one of the world's top-ranked heart journals, and presented on Saturday, November 8, 2025, as a late-breaking clinical trial at the American Heart Association's scientific sessions. Portia Gabo has more.
This is not an ordinary stethoscope. The original stethoscope, invented in 1816, allows healthcare professionals to only hear internal sounds of a patient's body. But this is a game changer, an artificial intelligence-powered one.
There's an AI built in this. You can see there's a screen here. So if a patient came to the hospital, complained about the usual symptoms that attend heart failure, then whoever is there, if it's a nurse, whoever has been trained to do that, would then put the stethoscope on your chest. The screen will display a number of things. One, it will display the heart rate. If your rhythm is abnormal, you don't beat regularly to do that. And the third thing is that after listening to all 4 auscultatory sites, it would pop up on your phone.
Heart failure is one of the biggest causes of death in Ghana today. Unfortunately, many people are diagnosed too late because Ghana has fewer than 30 cardiologists for over 30 million people. That means thousands of patients with heart failure are never diagnosed in time.
Before you get to see a cardiologist with a heart problem, is a referral team to the big facilities, 37 Kolebu, and even for you to be booked, it becomes a big challenge. And sometimes too, they end up not going. And sometimes too, people die out of heart failure without even knowing. But with this stethoscope, you get to know the state of the heart.
Adra is here at the Notre Dame Clinic in Nsawam to check the status of her heart. The AI-powered stethoscope is connected to a phone app that records heart sounds and lets AI analyze them instantly to see if the heart might be weak. A nurse or physician assistant in a rural clinic can easily record the heart sounds, send them securely to the cloud, and within minutes receive AI-assisted interpretation that alerts a cardiologist anywhere in the world.
When you look at our top 10 OPD cases. I think it's raining. Apart from malaria, it's one of the second cases that we've been getting within the municipality. So it's a good thing they brought this thing to us.
Hypertension and heart failure is not the number one silent killer in the country now. Most people don't know. People are working here and there. They don't know what is wrong with them. All of a sudden, you see people dying. She just came. She wanted to know what is actually going on. So when she came, we used the AI stethoscope to check the sound of her heart, the status of the heart, and see dictate. And then when we did, the result came out. When the people called me from outside, I was told that everything is normal. It's okay.
The Damson HF study, which stands for Detection and Management of Heart Failure using Sensora, a digital stethoscope, was led by Ghanaian cardiologists through the G-Act Foundation and Echo Health in the United States of America.
We've always had this question: when you have a new technology, when you have a new vehicle, when you have a new iPhone, you are able to get it to Africa. When it comes to health, there is that huge digital divide. That is the first time that we have demonstrated on the African continent that borders can't actually be a barrier anymore.
It involved 4 hospitals around Konfanoche in Kumasi. About 115 patients who had symptoms of heart failure were enrolled in the study.
So assuming we took 100 patients, all the 100 were picked by the normal echocardiogram as abnormal, if you like. The stethoscope was used in all these 100, and out of the 197 of them were picked by the stethoscope. So indeed, what we describe as the sensitivity of the tool is 97%. That is a game changer.
More than 90% of AI-identified cases were reviewed by a cardiologist within 48 hours, and instead of taking 30 minutes and a specialist, it gave an answer in under 2 minutes. In Ghana, the device is currently being used in some healthcare facilities, including the Nsawam Government Hospital, Notre Dame Clinic in Nsawam, and the Global Evangelical Mission Center in Apromase, Kumasi. For the team that led the study, they are happy that Africa isn't just receiving technology from the world, but creating it and proving that it works. The world has heard Ghana's heartbeat, a heartbeat powered by innovation, collaboration, and hope.
Our goal for the next few, I would say specifically next year, is to expand this and make this technology accessible to almost everyone in the country. We are hoping to screen about 50,000 people at the end of next year. So now that we have the device validated, is to actually deploy this in all the regions in Ghana.
Portia Gabor, TV3 News.
A digital revival is sweeping across Ghana and beyond, where prayer meetings, once confined to church halls, have found a new home online. From Alpha R to NSPPD and the Hallelujah Challenge, millions now gather not under one roof or on church pews, but on one network united by faith, hope, and technology. Our reporter Grace Hamwa-Jiman explores how virtual prayer communities are changing the way people worship, and why, for many, it has become a vital part of daily life.
It's midnight in Accra. While most of the city sleeps, thousands are wide awake, praying, singing, and believing. Not in a church building, but on their phones and laptops. What began as short virtual prayer meetings during the pandemic has now grown into a powerful global movement from the Pastor Elvis Ajiman-led Alpha R. To Nigeria's NSPPD, hosted by Pastor Jerry Eze.
If you want to keep back your testimony, let your vision be restored.
And gospel minister and singer Nathaniel Bassey leading a legend worshippers in the Hallelujah Challenge. These platforms have come to stay and their members are consistent. You may know Dr. Anna Bisiu as a brazen politician, but she's also a staunch online member of NSPPD, having joined the platform since 2023. Earlier this year, she shared a testimony of how her prayer for marital settlement was answered on the platform, and for her, it was a divine orchestration.
When I chancelled NSPPD, I took my pen and paper and wrote my husband's name. And I said, God, if this man, you created me for this man, then on this day, and I gave God a date, November. This was in August. I gave God a date, November. I said, God, I want to see all these signs. Then now I will know that, yes, this is you. This is you.
She's not the only known face who participates on these platforms. Ghana's Electoral Commission Chair, Jean Mensah, was seen ushering at the Ghana NSPPD conference at the Accra Sports Stadium.
This young lady came here with a pain in her shoulder, but even before you ask that they should do what they haven't done before.
It's midday, and 64-year-old Margaret Menubia has joined the afternoon rebroadcast of Alpha Hour. She has been on the platform in the last 2 years and has not missed an episode.
It doesn't affect work in any way. You see, the whole thing is if you are consistent, it becomes part of you. Whether you want to wake up or not, your eyes are open. You have to go and pray. Then when you finish, then you sleep off. When you wake up in the morning, then off you go. So I don't see, it's just those who do not like it. That's why they are complaining that it affects productivity. It doesn't in any way.
She tells me the healing she received on the platform has convinced her to stay.
It's not coincidence. So I've been praying about the Lord, I need healing because I can't continue taking medicine every time. I've been on high blood pressure medicine since 2015. Then about 2 months ago, I went checking my pressure. It has even gone lower than 120. So I went to the doctor. The doctor said, stop taking the pressure medicine. My pressure has stabilized. I don't take any medicine again on.
These platforms have large following. Dressed Like a Miracle, a popular feature on Hallelujah Challenge on October 22, pulled over 3 million live viewers only on YouTube. Alpha Hour on a daily basis does between 100 to 120,000 people, while NSPPD pulls between 300 to 600,000 viewers on every episode. But can these platforms threaten the traditional church?
It's a threat to big churches. We go to church looking for miracles, looking for quick results. And these prayer meetings online and stuff give people this instant kind of thing. You see people sharing testimonies, people talking about, oh, overnight I got a job, I got married, all sorts of testimonies. So people get into that. And it's very attractive.
But the Christian Council of Ghana disagrees. The Vice Chair of the Council, Reverend Enoch Thompson, argues that these platforms have come to stay and the traditional church must adapt.
Digital space has become another option, and it will not replace what has existed traditionally. It will come to complement what has been there, and would be a factor in our Christian expression until Jesus comes.
Reverend Thompson advocates balance and vigilance on these platforms, as not everyone online has holy intentions.
It gets worse with technology because then faceless people hide behind their skills and knowledge of the technical space and then abuse people and abuse them in terms of taking away their resources and all of that. So what is needed is education of our members. Let them know what is safe and what is not safe in the media space.
So whether you are sharing the link on Alpha Hour to Dress Like a Miracle on Hallelujah Challenge because you believe what God cannot do does not exist, technology is affecting every aspect of life, even accessibility to God, either by a click or just a tap on your phone. You just have to choose what works for you. Grace Hamajuman, CV3 News, Accra.
You're watching News360. When we come back from the break, we'll tell you how that same technology is pushing some traditional jobs out of the market. Blacksmithing, typewriting, and all of that. Stay with us here on TV3. Welcome back to the program. Let's bring you some more stories tonight. As Ghana continues to grow and modernize, some old trades that once shaped daily life, they are quietly disappearing, from blacksmiths and typists to cobblers. Now, these professions are being replaced by machines and new technology. But while some are giving up, others are finding ways to adapt. Ayisha Yakubu takes us to meet a few of the people trying to hold on or evolve as their jobs face extinction.
At the heart of every Ghanaian community once stood tradesmen and women whose skills powered daily life. These traditional professionals, like the blacksmith, the cobbler, typewriters, and others, seem to be fading fast. For more than 30 years, Kojo Entry has worked as a blacksmith at Swami Magazine in Kumasi. However, things are not what they used to be. Machines and imported goods have taken over what was once a proud symbol of Ghanaian craftsmanship. The trade that fed his family and trained many is disappearing.
That is the only trade that I know, so I cannot give up on it. It involves a lot of strength. And the new generation, they may not be able to handle the stress and they want quick money, so we cannot even teach them. We used to enjoy the job in the past, but it is no longer that way.
Across the country, it is the same story. Traditional jobs are losing ground. In Accra, 59-year-old Lily Mante, a typist for over 20 years, still holds on to her typewriter. She once helped thousands communicate in a largely illiterate society. But even she admits the world around her has changed.
Okay, the demand previously was high comparing to today due to the upsurge of the computer in the system. There are people, they set up people like the cafe. Most of them do their typing. Before, people don't print documents, but then you come to type them. But now you have it somewhere, it will be printed from the cafe.
Auntie Lily is caught between two worlds. She is learning to use computers, but still believes there's something special about the old way.
There are some jobs that cannot go without this. For that one, we'll use it. But others that is needed to be taken to the computer, we do it. Currently, we do it side by side.
While some struggle to keep up, others are blending tradition with innovation. Nelson Adeti, once a roadside cobbler, now calls himself a shoemaker and a designer.
Nowadays, I see that people get more money to put it in the business so that they get shop and those things. So those people working at corporate office, the bosses and those things, they bring the shoe to those people are doing the correct work, not that Conco. They know that Conco people, they just do something rough for you. So they bring the orders to us.
What seemed like a dying trade for Nelson has found new life online.
Social media nowadays, they do advertising in the social media very much. So everybody want to advertising their work in the social media. So I get more clients in the social media. So my work to go viral outside Ghana here to people know that I'm doing the shoes and those things there. So social media helped me a lot.
Labor expert Austin Game says the extension of traditional jobs is a global trend, but in Ghana, the impact is more personal.
The reality is that there is, beyond rapidly changing technologies across the world, minute by minute. And so many people lost their jobs because there's a switch, there's a shift, and they couldn't shift by way of acquisition of new knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Once you don't do that, you will suffer the consequences for it.
He says while technology is unavoidable, support systems must help workers transition instead of leaving them behind.
we should not have hurriedly be so eager to abandon the non-formal education that was brought by the PNDC at the time. We could have taken advantage to sort of, move the people from the old state to a new state. And so it's a big problem. Even it's becoming a major issue now. Technology has overtaken everybody.
From Kumasi to Accra, Ghana's disappearing trades tell a story of change. Some painful, some inspiring. For those that are still holding on, it is more than just making a living. It is about keeping alive the skills that once built this nation, even as the world moves on. Ayisha Yakubu Khalid, TV3 News.
You're watching News 360. We're back with some sports news after this.
It's time for sports here on News360. I am Aniela Alote. We start off on the domestic front with the Super Clash. Kumasi Asante Kotoko emerged victorious with a 1-0 win against Accra Hearts of Oak. The goal, which was the difference between the two sides, was a penalty scored by Guinean forward Morifing Donzo, his first for the Porcupine Warriors. Let's take a look at a wrap of the game as it happened from Murtala Yakubu.
So match day 9 of the Ghana Premier League has been wrapped up beautifully here at the Accra Sports Stadium. It was a big one. Hearts of Oak came up against their bitterest rivals, Asante Kotoko. Now the game started pretty well for the Porcupines, who dominated and created all the better chances. Somewhere before the game ended, Peter Akwa-Amidu, who had switched flanks with Saka Dauda, was brought down by Yawa Mankwabe, and the referee whistled for a penalty. Morfin Donzon, who has been heavily criticized by the Porcupine family, stepped up and converted beautifully to give Asante Kotoko a 1-0 lead going into the recess. Now, in the second half, it was a completely different story. Hearts of Oak dominated, created some half chances, but again, they were blunt up front, and Asante Kotoko stood tall. Samba O'Neill was adjudged the most valuable player in this game, as Kotoko ended up winning by a 1-0, meaning that Asante Kotoko have ended Accra Hearts of Oak's unbeaten run in the Ghana Premier League. For the Porcupines, they are looking forward to playing the outstanding matches. They have 3 of them before they can get at par, or they can be at par with the likes of Hearts of Oak, who have played 9 games. It's a joy for Asante Kotoko and their head coach Karim Zito, who says that he set up specifically to ensure that they end Hearts of Oak's unbeaten run.
We still maintain our unbeaten record, not against any other team but Accra Hearts of Oak. So I'm very happy we've been able to do that. Far in our away game. Already I own Kumasi supporters 2 points. Because I remember I played against Heart of Lion draw, which tells me I have to go and set for that 2 goals. So I'm very happy that I've gotten that 2 goals today.
For Masud Didi Dramani and Hearts of Oak, it's a defeat, but he says that they would recover.
We believe that that is the way we can change things up, and we need to be very sustainable. We need to keep it going up and down, and we believe in what we are doing. I think that we are playing one of the best ways, and these things are normal to happen. You cannot change a concept and then you cannot bring in a new concept and then you are expecting everything to boom, just fit in. No, we will make mistakes, and we will not stop trying.
Murtala Yakubu for 3 Sports at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Staying on the Super Clash, with Accra Hearts of Oak defeated on home grounds at the Accra Sports Stadium, Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans are beside themselves with excitement. Here are some reactions following the game.
But here's the case, Kotoko penalty, no, penalty grandpa, fine. But I'm coming. But here's the case. Just imagine, Obia chest ball, and outside the bench. Nyoma say, and I'm young Kuyanim. And grab
I'm thinking it's a nice game, but I believe officiating wasn't too fair. So the referees should back up, because this brings our game down.
The attitude of referees, people don't understand me. The multi-question that I'm asking, that why is that at the end of the day or at the end of the game, all the policemen will rush to the field?
What I want to see from Didi Dramani, I've seen. Complete game. My problem is we grew up to watch Ghana Premier League. How much is VAR that we can procure to protect our league?
The goal is the goal of the year. The referee, they jealous the goal. That's why I didn't collect. But we as a folk, we go take the referee to court. The referee is titus.
Jawugo no shano Kumasi. That's the goal of the year. Secondly, Kotoko penalty 45 minutes to the end of the ball. Match no Kotoko first half Kotoko penalty. Me party si shebo no TV3 e o fie. Omo frame mo hanu ya, omo catch am say one no. Ball say clear penalty. Referee.
A great night for Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans, but that will be all for sports here on News360. I am Aniela Alote. Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyled
and Napa Foods.
Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Let's now bring you some interesting tidbits from the entertainment circles.
Ghanaian artist Marie has announced her new tour, the Black Star Experience, which will visit the New York City, Toronto, Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles, with the Accra date to be revealed soon. Described as a cultural homecoming, the tour celebrates Marie's roots and the global influences that shape her music. She invites fans, her Black Stars, to attend, dressed in all black to embrace the show's theme of unity, creativity and freedom. Tickets are now on sale, with anticipation for the Accra performance. Weeks after being crowned the winner of the coveted GMB title, reigning Queen Etonam has officially begun her thank you tour. On Sunday, the Queen stepped out in style to visit several individuals and groups as a gesture of appreciation for the unwavering support throughout the 13 weeks of competition. Her first stop was the West End City Church at Kaswa Ofankor, where she offered heartfelt thanks to God and to the church members for their continuous prayers and encouragement during the GMB journey.
Today is my Thanksgiving service. I came to give thanks to the one who is the center of my attention, my life, my everything, God the Most High. And when I came to church, the reception, overwhelming, it was welcoming. And I am glad that I came back to the one who started with me and finished with me. And my pastors, my bishop, the church members, the Great Commission choir were so, overwhelmingly welcoming, and I'm grateful. I am happy that I've been able to come back to give thanks to God who started with me.
Etonam is also expected to host a grand homecoming event in the coming weeks to celebrate this milestone with her community.
That's your entertainment. Let's now bring you some international news.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has for the first time acknowledged that 2 Kenyan activists who were missing in his country for 5 weeks had been arrested. Last month, eyewitnesses reported seeing Bob Njani and Nicolas Zoyo being forced into a car by masked uniformed men after a political event where they were supporting Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine. News of their release was confirmed on Saturday, but up to that point, the authorities had denied that they were being detained. In a live interview on Saturday evening, Museveni described the 2 men as experts in riots, who had then been put in the fridge for some days. Kenya's Foreign Minister Musalia Mudavadi said their release followed sustained diplomatic engagements between Kenya and Uganda. Syrian President Ahmed Sharaa has arrived in Washington for an official visit, just 2 days after the U.S. formally revoked his status as a specially designated global terrorist. The former Islamist militant will meet U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday, 11 months after his rebel alliance ousted Bashar al-Assad. Hours after his arrival in the U.S. Capitol, it was announced that Syrian security services had detained dozens of suspected members of the so-called Islamic State group. Joint efforts to tackle what remains of the group in Syria are expected to be high on the agenda during Shara's talks with Trump.
You can find more international news on 3news.com, as well as all of the stories we have shared with you here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us over the last 1 hour. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Noble Crosby Annan. Thank you so much for watching. Mentor is up next. Good evening.
Bye-bye.